What if you could hand off your most boring computer work to an AI that literally uses your desktop like a human, but better and cheaper? No code, no fragile scripts, just tell it what you want and it does the clicking, it does the typing and navigating for you all across every single one of your apps. That is exactly the problem TuriX is built to solve. All those repetitive tasks that quietly drain your day: HR admin, accounting, data entry, web research, copying data between tools, they add up to an estimated $2 trillion in lost productivity every year. Traditional RPA tried to fix this, but you get complex setup, brittle workflows, and workflows that break when an UI changes, high license fees, and usually you need engineers just to keep the whole thing alive. TuriX itself takes a different path. Instead of rigid automation, you create an AI digital worker, a humanoid computer that uses agents that think like a human, behaves like an expert, and operates your desktop for you. You use natural language. All you'd have to do is open the site, log in, scrape the fields, paste them into a spreadsheet, then email the report. TuriX infers your intent, builds a plan, and carries out the actions across apps and systems. No APIs, no UI element tagging, no flowchart design, it just drives the GUI. On the product side, the experience has been refined heavily. The client floating window has been optimized so you can monitor and control tasks without cluttering your screen. The front-end interface now supports Chinese, making the platform usable for a much wider global audience. Task execution also now supports a replan function, so if something changes mid-task, the agent can adjust its strategy instead of failing. They added proper device deletion, improved handling for screen and scene changes, and full compatibility with Windows 10 alongside Mac and Windows support. Under the hood, this is powered by their own vision language model tuned specifically for GUI task execution. General multimodal models, even the big names, often struggle with long desktop workflows. They design clumsy action sequences and miss pixel level clicks, especially on dense or stylized interfaces. TuriX is trained to fix those pain points. It's trained on public and private benchmarks like showdown clicks and Mac click to reach about 64.3% click location accuracy, slightly ahead of OpenAI's CUA model on showdown clicks, and around a 10% relative improvement over the UiTAR's 72B SFT model. In real-world Mac OS laptop tasks, they report pass at 5 success rates of 68% for end-to-end execution, which is insane. To keep reliability high on complex and long horizon tasks, they also build a framework called Parallelum. Instead of one agent doing everything in a straight line, Parallelum uses 4 roles in particular, and in parallel, planning, action, evaluation, and supervision. One part figures out the strategy, another one executes, another one checks the results, and a supervisor oversees the whole process. Much better than RPA, and that multi-role setup helps avoid cascading errors and lets TuriX finish tasks faster and more reliably than all older linear systems. Now let me show you what this looks like in practice. Imagine you're running an HR team and every week you pull candidate data from multiple job boards, copy it into your ATS or spreadsheets, and update internal dashboards. With TuriX, you can describe the workflow in plain language once. The AI worker opens each site, searches for the right roles, extracts the fields you care about, and inputs them into your chosen app or sheet. Because it mimics human actions and understands the visual layout, it can handle dynamic pages, screen transitions, and small UI changes without you rebuilding anything. Or take data scraping. Say you need to collect pricing or competitor data from a bunch of sites and desktop apps, some with dynamic content and CAPTCHA. TuriX acts like a human user. It navigates the pages, scrolls, clicks, adapts to screen changes, and can even bypass CAPTCHA by behaving like a real person rather than just hitting an API. It then pushes that data into your internal tools, spreadsheets, or reports, and because TuriX bridges gaps between apps without needing APIs, it can connect legacy desktop software with modern SaaS tools in one continuous workflow. The whole point is to make this accessible to everyone. Repetitive work is dead, and it's basically their slogan. You do not need hardcore programming skills, you do not need tag UI elements, you do not invest in huge setups. With just a few words, TuriX generates workflows from natural language, adapts to UI shifts, replans when needed, and learns from every task so it becomes smarter and faster while staying consistent. that ties directly into their core values, innovation that adapts to changing interfaces without engineering, accessibility so everyone can use it, and affordability at around $50 a month, far below most traditional RPA solutions. Now behind this is New Generation Technology, founded in February of 2025. The idea started at a tech meetup where the co-founders, Kevin and Tony, were both frustrated with how much time gets wasted on repetitive digital work. Tony brings deep experience in deep learning and natural language algorithms, and Kevin brings operational insight into real business workflows. They built an early AI GUI agent that could automate browsers and apps with simple prompts, and that evolved into the TuriX digital worker platform. They are going after the $28 billion RPA market as an entry point into the broader digital worker space, aiming for a world where every business has seamless, ethical AI integration and self-adaptive automation. Now, if you're a developer, there's also the TuriX API platform. You can try the API for free, mainly to test their GitHub project and implementations. The configuration is straightforward. You set the provider to TuriX, pick your model name, add your API key, and point to their base URL. They recommend following their GitHub guidelines rather than using it as a general chat endpoint, but it lets you plug the same underlying tech into your own tools and workflows. Now, this is still cutting edge tech, so it's not magic. A 68% success rate on real world tasks is strong, but for truly mission critical workflows, you will still want monitoring and maybe a human in the loop. And because the product is evolving so quickly, features like replanning and screen handling will keep improving, so you get the best results by following their documentation and staying engaged with the community. Now, if you want to experience what it feels like to have an AI coworker actually drive your computer, you can download TuriX for Mac or Windows and try it today. Description down below. If you're interested in AI agents, automations, and digital workers that can actually bring the gap between your apps, check it out, play with it, and see what workflows you can offload first. And if this was useful, subscribe, drop a comment with how you would use an AI digital worker in your own setup, and I will see you guys in the next one.